Donald Trump's out there doing that. And then Donald Trump's out there going to these parties at the Kit Kat Club to meet. This is separate than what I just said. This is separate. He's just going out there to meet, these young models. Melania has previously made posts about how proud she is of her nudes. But did you know that after Donald Trump and Melania met, she got what was called an Einstein visa? Melania arrived in the United States from Slovenia in 1996 for modeling work, and then she obtained her green card around 2001 based on her extraordinary ability as a model.
Trump's face went from orange to firetruck red in seconds, all because Jimmy Kimmel joked about Melania's old modeling days and tied it to those Jeffrey Epstein photos nobody was supposed to talk about. What was said on live TV set the internet ablaze, and Trump's reaction? Let's just say it was less presidential and more preschool tantrum. Stay tuned, because you're about to hear the exact line that made Mar-a-Lago shake. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. It started with one line. Not a long rant, not a detailed monologue, just one sentence that somehow mixed glamour, scandal, and politics into a single punch Kimmel knew would land hard. You could almost see him lean into it, teasing the setup like a kid about to dare everyone in the room to laugh at the thing they definitely shouldn't. He didn't blurt it out right away. He let the audience chew on the suspense. And when he finally went there, they didn't just laugh, they made that weird half-gasp, half-howl sound people make when you say something so wrong it loops back around to being right.
Right now, Russia, it's weaponizing Melania's past. I don't know if you know this, but on Russian TV, they frequently show Melania nude in order to mock Donald Trump. This is 1997. How sweet. Trump's Brit of all, right? Just weeks after ditching his second wife, America's best-known billionaire Donald Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl. This was before Melania. They were linked by someone named Paolo Zampoli, who's become an ambassador under Donald Trump, a high-ranking government official.
Kimmel has been a thorn in Trump's side for years now. It's not like this was his first jab. Long before this particular episode, he'd mocked Trump's big speeches like they were high school book reports, dragged his COVID briefings for feeling more like late-night infomercials than public health updates, and even parroted his foreign policy as one long game of guess which dictator gets a hug. Each time, you could tell he enjoyed needling grumpy Trumpy more when the stakes were high. But this night had a different energy, more like he'd been sitting on a firecracker and finally decided it was time to light it. The build-up was sneaky. He warmed up the crowd with lighter burns, yes, even one about Trump's golf swing looking like he was trying to swat a bee, before shifting tone. The jokes got sharper.
Melania was a model from Eastern Europe who was brought to the United States, who would attend these parties where the rich men would show up and mingle with the models. She was treated like a genius, an exceptional achievement visa that gave her a fast track to become a United States citizen. Donald Trump's out there doing that. And then Donald Trump's out there going to these parties at the Kit Kat Club to meet. This is separate than what I just said. This is separate. He's just going out there to meet, these young models.
The room was already buzzing from the earlier shots at Donnie Diaper's pandemic blunders and the odd photo ops that tried to pass off chaos as leadership. By the time Kimmel started hinting about photos you haven't seen, the crowd was primed. They leaned forward. Even through the camera, you could feel it, something was coming that would be more than your average late-night roast. And let's be clear, when Kimmel said unseen photos, he wasn't talking about harmless vacation snaps. These were the sort of images whispered about in political circles, the ones most people pretend they've never even heard of. He didn't show them, of course. Didn't have to. Just hinting was enough to jolt people, because the name Epstein isn't just another celebrity scandal. it's a pressure point in American politics. Nobody wants that name anywhere near them, especially if they've lived in the White House. What made it sting was the contrast he was drawing. For years, Melania had been carefully framed in the public eye, elegant, poised, distant enough from the chaos to feel untouchable.
Melania's previously made posts about how proud she is of her nudes, but did you know that after Donald Trump and Melania met, she got what was called an Einstein visa? So Donald Trump goes to the Kit Kat Club, and let's just see the story as reported by the New York Times about how Donald and Melania met at the Kit Kat Club. So Donald Trump meets Melania at the Kit Kat Club, and then they develop a relationship with each other. And then let's talk about what happened.
And now here was Kimmel, mixing that glossy image with the dumpster fire energy of the Trump administration. It was like watching a luxury fashion ad playing in the middle of a house fire, the polish still there, but not hiding the smoke. That visual stuck, because it didn't just attack Trump's actions, it mocked the whole illusion of control they tried to keep alive. Then came the line. Delivered almost casually, as if he was tossing away a side comment. But it was the comedic equivalent of a sucker punch. Some say Melania's got unseen photos with Jeffrey Epstein. Don't worry, Donald, we'll wait till after your bedtime story to show them. The crowd erupted. Bigger than usual.
When he met London model Anuska DeGiorgio at a party in Manhattan. Several American millionaires already had their eyes on Anuska, but she was there with Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine. In 1997, he's out there partying with Epstein and Ghislaine. Melania arrived in the United States from Slovenia in 1996 for modeling work, and then she obtained her green card around 2001 based on her extraordinary ability as a model.
Some people clapped, some cringed. One guy in the front row put his hands over his face like he just saw someone's grandma at a rave. It hit differently because it threaded the needle. It was funny enough to stand as a joke, but close enough to a real-world controversy to make people shift in their seats. And while the camera stayed on Kimmel, something else was happening online. Even before the segment ended, Twitter lit up like a Christmas tree on fire. Hashtags with Trump's name and Epstein's were rocketing into the trending list. Other late-night hosts started chiming in. A couple of celebrities posted laughing emojis without even giving context, just to stir the pot. This wasn't just late-night banter, it was becoming a cross-platform feeding frenzy. What nobody in that live audience knew yet, though, was that just a few hundred miles away in Mar-a-Lago, the joke wasn't treated as a clever bit of TV. It set off a chain of angry phone calls, rants to aides, and even talk about legal opti.